Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Mumbai, time for them to fire against Lucknow. Lucknow way above them on the table. New franchise, already have had their taste of victory and defeat. And this is going to be once again at the Vaughan Stadium. I'm not sure any of the groundsmen, curators, staff, Joy, are going anywhere from the previous game. It's a quick turnaround.
It's a really quick turnaround, and I'll be interested. They've prepared quite a few decent pitches out there, and that's why you're having that. Just still not trying to play in the middle pitches that much, which is why you're having these very disproportionate boundaries early in the tournament, because they're sticking to the pitches on one side or the other. I actually seeing this pitch, Mumbai will not be unhappy, because Mumbai's problem is that they just don't have a spin attack at all. They don't have any spinners at all this time. Rahul Chahar is not there, Krunal Pandya is not there. They're just not having. So they need their fast bowlers to fire, and perhaps they look at this surface and say, look at what Umran Malik has got out of this surface. Look at what Natarajan has got. We've got Bumrah. We've got some decent pace. I'd really like them to play Riley Meredith and get some real serious wheels out there as well.
Yeah, before I could ask the question, you answered it, Joy. Michael, it's got to be. They've got to find their combination before it's too late. If there's space, it's got to be Riley Meredith. They wish it could have been Jofra Archer, but it's not.
Well, you kind of look at, Daryl Brevis will play. He was exceptional in the last game. For an 18-year-old to play in that fashion, he's going to be a superstar. You think Kieran Pollard will probably play, so there's two, and then there's two more. So you probably go Tamal Mills will play. Left arm, pace, and then you kind of look at it, Tim David, who's not fired at all. Daniel Sams has struggled. I'd unleash the Aussie quick. He charges it. I commentate on him in the Big Bash, and he just roars in. And all he tries to do is bowl quick. That's pretty much what he does. So if you're not going to play him on a pitch like we've seen today, I think he may struggle to get a game. So look, they've got to find a combination. They've got to find a win from somewhere. And when you've lost so many games, it's almost like you wake up in the morning and pick out the hat and just try and hope that 11 that comes out the hat, the right side, gets you that first victory, because they're a long way short this year, Gads, and they're nowhere near the Mumbai sides of old. They've lost a few players, and the only glimmer that I can give them is they've got a superstar in the making. They've got him early. They've got Daryl Brevis right at the start of his career, very much like Mumbai do. They get them young and they stick with them. He is going to be something very, very special. He's just a joy to watch.
Yeah, well, he's a joy to watch. But Joy, if you can watch for a moment, can you possibly see Tim David getting a go here? If we can just finish off on that lineup.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Because, if you look at this lineup, the one huge problem out here was they played, their batsman number 7 was Jaydev Unadkat. So Jaydev Unadkat, Jasprit Bumrah, Murugan Ashwin, Basil Tampi, Tymon Mills, 5 bowlers they had at the end. None of those guys bat. I don't think you can play an IPL tournament with 5 bowlers.
Do you dare rest Pollard?
I don't think. Resting Pollard, you might as well turn around and say that let's let the Queen abdicate. Or let's sell this team. Let's sell this team to the Adanis instead. It's sacrilege in Mumbai. You cannot rest Pollard. So you have to keep Pollard. My sense is, even though they've lost, they might just try and put in Tim David, because I have a feeling that they've just too many bowlers. They cannot afford to keep playing with 5 bowlers. And if those 5 bowlers are getting pasted as much as they are, I don't think there's any other place to go.
But Tim David for who?
That's the problem. Then if you bring in Riley Meredith, then I don't think they can bring in Meredith, because if you bring in Tim David, he has to come in place of, say, a Basil Thampi or somebody, because they really have to, and then hope that they get some overs out of him, because they really have no option out here. I can't see anywhere else they go.
We've heard it in the past, Michael. In certain quarters, could he just not have a niggle, Kieran Pollard? You don't have to drop him or rest him. Just wasn't feeling well.
Has it got to that stage where you can't just say to someone you're not in the 11?
With certain players who are part of certain lineups, and remember, they've spent a lot of time in Pune. Now they're coming down to Marine Drive, to the heart of where all the action is, so they can't mess around with anything. It's going to be a full house, as many are allowed at the Vaughan.
They've just got to decide upon who they think are the best 11 players for tomorrow. They have to get a win, and if it means that you upset one or two people, so be it. That's professional sport. So they've got to get the think tank. Rohit needs to start to perform. You know, we've spoken about the bowling, but Rohit really hasn't fired at all. He's a world-class performer. He needs to come out and start getting side off to a really better start than we've seen. And, you know, they've just got nowhere near. You know, they've got nowhere near the levels that they would have expected. As I said before, they're not a Mumbai side of old that you just looked from 1 to 11 and thought world-class all the way down. They're not. They're a different Mumbai side, but they're certainly not playing to potential. And that's the job of the coaches and the captain to just try and get your team playing to potential. And if you get them to that level where you can look each other in the eye and go, well, we played okay, but we were up against a better team. But they've just been nowhere near the potential this year, and that's a concern for Mumbai.
Yeah, and they've come close on several occasions. If you look at that 0-5, it's not quite been a despondent 0-5, but at the end of it, whether it's by 1 run or by 100 runs, you still don't have a point on the board. Who are they up against? Who are they up against at the Brabant now? Will this make any difference to them? One ex-Mumbaiker, at least as far as the Indians are concerned. Krunal Pandya will be in the opposition, so we're going to have a little fun and games there as well. But also a certain Q de Kock, Joy. So there's a couple of men who will be wanting to come back to Mumbai and show them, listen, we can still play. Thanks for letting us go.
Yeah, I think they point to prove 11. I think those guys are also waiting, and Quinton's had one really good knockout here. I think the only problem with this Lucknow squad, it still looks a very, very good team. It looks even better with Marcus Stoinis in. I think they need to give their batsmen a little bit of time in that batting order. You know, you've got Rahul. Last time they just kept moving their batting order all over the place, and you know, they got Krishnappa Gautam up as a pinch hitter. It didn't quite work. Their batting order changed. You've got players like Marcus Stoinis at 3. I mean, he's he can really, really bat there at 3. Why are you trying to push him down at 6 or 7? He's one of your best batsmen. So, I mean, if you have that kind of batting, try and use it. I think they were too adventurous last time. This is a very deep squad. They have exactly the opposite. You know, look back at the squad. This squad has 4 to 5 all-rounders. You're talking about Marcus Stoinis, Jason Holder, Deepak Hooda, Krishnappa Gautam, all of them, Kunal Pandey. You're talking about 5 legitimate all-rounders out here.
Kyle Mayers, should I say? Dare say?
Yeah, Kyle Mayers, if they play him, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They have a phenomenal, so they have exactly the opposite problem. They just need to get together their team, get their, you know, Rahul needs to get runs. Rahul has not got runs this year, not the way. He's like a 600-year man. He's still not looking that 600-year performance. And this is the time around which Rahul normally breaks out. They need something from Rahul, and as a captain, that will make him just feel a bit better. Also, I think the rest of it is just a matter of they would just shrug it off and say, okay, we got it wrong last time. With this kind of team, we're not going to get it wrong every time.
Michael's thinking, why did I bring up Kyle Mayers?
No, you're right. I mean, I just look at KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, 2 players that really haven't fired yet. And I'll just say yet. They're due. So it might be tomorrow. The pitch is good. It's coming on. Both players like the ball coming onto the bat. You know, it wouldn't be surprising if both of them got runs, if not one of them gets a big score to push their team over the line. It's just tinkering. They tinkered too much in the last game with that batting lineup. Got a little bit too smart on the game. Didn't need to do that. You know, and it cost them. So I would think they'll go to a more simplistic approach tomorrow and try and get that batting lineup a little bit more settled. I think it might give them a better chance.